Add some cat-cows, full extension into our spine. Engage your entire core. Deep breath in, sigh it out. Extension and flexion through the spine. One more time. Come back to neutral spine. And then let's add some organic movements, some side to side, maybe some movement through your wrists and elbows, cracks in between every then. And maybe some movement through your legs to activate, because we'll primarily focus on our neck, shoulders, and upper back. Everybody come over to one side with an assist and slowly open up your body. Give a nice long stretch to the side body. Deep breath in, deep breath out. What we're gonna have you do is make sure you have good grounding in the hand on the ground, and slowly use your supporting leg to extend in a side stretch. Engage your core, warming up your body, and then we're gonna come back down, come back to neutral, add another cat-cow or any organic movements, and we're gonna move on to the other side. So make sure your hand is nicely grounded on the mat. Slowly open up your body so that we can stretch through the whole side of the body. This is a little bit of a balance challenge as well. Good morning, body. Good morning, muscles. And then slowly take your supporting leg and bring it up towards the leg that's out, so we're in a side crunch. Engage your core. We're warming up our bodies. And then when you feel ready, come back to hands and knees. Deep breath in, add some organic movements, and we're going to get started here. Come into a plank, engage your core, warming up the body, maybe add some organic movements through your legs and knees, and then come to a seated position. We're gonna start with the rounds as part of the point release kit here. So go ahead and grab your green and blue round. There's lots of acupuncture points all around the sides of the head, and also the highest concentration of parasympathetic nerve endings. That's the rest and digest section of our autonomic nervous system. This part of the nervous system is automatic, if you will. That's what that autonomic means, and it functions whether or not we're thinking about it and how we're reacting. So a lot of times when we're stressed out or moving from appointment to appointment, or not having some mindful approaches to what we're doing with our bodies, going through our daily practices, this is a way to help our bodies access, rest, digest, relax. So to help us, we're gonna go with the rounds, bring it to your temple and your cranium, add compression. Compression is just gentle contact and then adding a little bit of pressure. Deep breath in and out. And then let's add some organic movements. So maybe add some round circular movements, maybe compress in the temple and lift, gently pushing up against gravity. And all of the points in and around the head here coincide or correlate with many of our acupuncture meridians. So in so many ways we can say here that we are bringing a little bit of activation to many of our energetic meridians, as well as helping our bodies rest and relax. So when you guys go and try this at home, take a quick look at yourself in the mirror and then give yourself a full head massage with your eyes closed, and then go check in the mirror again, and you'll notice that you have relaxed many levels into your body. All right, let's take the rounds into and around the ear. Many more acupuncture meridians cross around our ear like so, and many meridians run along the entirety of our spine and head. So we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a lovely, relaxing massage here all around the ears. And there are acupuncture meridians that run their points here in and around the ear. So we're going to come contact these areas as well. So come in front of the ear, compress, deep breath in and out. Breath is one of the utmost important aspects of life. So definitely keep hearing me say this. I'll cue and give you gentle reminders for breath. But if you notice during the day, even without doing these mindful practices, that you're holding your breath, that's just the first place that you can start. Come right under the ear, compress, deep breath in and out. And I like to add some cross fiber shear. The muscles here run from right under the ear down diagonally along the side and down to the front of the chest right here, and attaches above the collarbone. This is the anterior SCM, sternocleidomastoid. It is the sternum, the cleido, and the mastoid process. There is a posterior section from here that comes directly behind, and these two muscles help us navigate movement with our head and neck. And if you notice here, before we keep going, let's all do a test and assessment. Everybody turn your head all the way over one shoulder. See how that feels. And then come over to the other shoulder and see how that feels. Each side will feel significantly different. Come back to neutral and dip your chin to chest. Deep breath in, raise your head, and sigh it out. You might notice how one side is more tight than the other. So for example, I play violin like this my entire life. So this side of my neck is a lot more tender and tight and sensitive compared to this direction. So coming back to neutral, last direction of test is to tip our head to each side, right side and left side. And I can see in the video here how it looks before. I know for sure in a few minutes it'll change significantly. And as you guys continue using the tools, check in with your range of motion so you can observe what helps the most and what feels most comfortable in alleviating tension and pain. So go ahead and grab your rounds. One more time, we're going to come to the base of the skull. Top of the spine, base of the skull, there are a couple points here along the bladder meridian. And the bladder meridian runs up and down all along the back of the spine. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Compress here right under the ear. We're going to call this pin and lengthen. So we can pin and move our body parts, like opening and closing your mouth. Or pin one side and move your head by lengthening the muscle by moving your head. Or my other favorite is to pin and lengthen with the tool. So I'm going to drag it down the side of my neck all the way to the very top of my chest. And this is also pinning and lengthening by dragging along the muscle. Let's make it over to the other side. Gotta give both sides same treatment. However, if one side is more tender than the other, maybe let's give it a little extra couple of strokes or releases and see if that helps alleviate the disparate feelings of tension. All right, let's check in with range of motion again. One side, this side already feels significantly better. Come into the other side, neutral. There's always a pull on my left side. So that's already significantly different too. The tip to each side. Very nice. All right, let's move on. Put your rounds back and take your muscle flushing kit. This is the rod and the helix fit together. Really easy to use rolling pin method. Let's take it behind our head to the back of our skull and the base of our occiput and flush up and down behind our head, base of the skull. Turn your head over to the left side or either side, whichever side you pick. Turn your side and then drop your elbow at an angle and flush right behind the back of the ear. Like I said, this was the posterior SCM attachments here, as well as erector spinae, which are muscles that run along the entire length of the spine and border each side. We're going to work all the way through the center and all the way towards the other side. Don't forget to breathe. Come back to neutral. Notice how the groove here allows you to target right along each side of the spine instead of directly on the spine. All right, hold on a second. Just going to move this mic to help with sound here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. All right, so we're going to take the helix now off of the rod. Let's go with the rod alone. Bring it behind the base of the skull, flush right behind on either side of the spine. Don't flush along the spine because there are bony processes called spinous processes, and they're meant to stay there. You're not going to get rid of them by flushing. Flush all the way over to the side, and now let's talk about the other technique I've been mentioning, cross fiber shear. The flushing was up and down movement in the same direction as muscles that run this way, and cross fiber shear is we're going to compress and then move the rod side to side. It's just about an inch, a centimeter to an inch maybe. And be gentle at first if it's very tender, but you can come back again and work through it. Cross fiber shear is moving perpendicular to the direction of muscle. And you'll notice it feels like the release can be quite a bit deeper. And then let's move over to the other side. Now I started you in the base of the skull. This is the top of the bladder meridian, and it does wrap around, but the bladder meridian is related to the element of water. And so therefore it's a storehouse of energy and hydration, nutrients. It also acts as a way to flush toxins or other things that we call such as aggressive energy or things that we relate to in Chinese medicine. So after we work through the entire spine, we'll be activating that meridian, energizing those functions and helping our body flush and renew, and as well as access hydration. So this is a very important aspect of deep tissue massage. Always hydrate, hydrate. And if you might feel, just notice and see, you might also sense that your body is asking you to drink more water or it's thirsty. So serve as your body needs, okay? The rod is very easy to use. You can put the two tools back together and we can quickly go ahead and give our legs a flush. Okay, so go ahead and flush the legs. We're gonna start from the top of the knee and flush upward. In general, the rule of thumb for direction is towards your heart, but trust me, when you come down to lower leg, flushing downwards right along this tibialis anterior, aka shin splint, or this is the muscle we're talking about here, flushing downward is really comfortable too. So rule of thumb in general, flush upwards towards the body, but if it feels good, work with it. All right, come under the calf for a few moments. Like I said, our class is primarily going to focus on back and shoulders. So this is just a quick breeze through into the legs to let you see how this feels, and then we're going to move on. If you have something similar like a running stick, that's effective as well. Or you can always lay onto your tools, and I'll give you that demo briefly here. What we have as some alternatives is to lay down on our tool. So this is the helix with a divot here for the spine. Most of you guys might have something more similar to a traditional foam roller or something that looks like this. So for example, another way to flush through the legs would be to be laying down like so and flushing through the legs.
Under your sexy body,